We're here today to formally adopt the following committee items for the 115th Congress: the rules of the committee, the Oversight and Authorization Plan, and the parking policy for this Congress. I look forward to working with each of you throughout this Congress, and I want to thank each member for your willingness to serve on this committee. I thank you for the individual service and enthusiasm that you share regarding the work that lays ahead for this committee, and we're blessed to have a great staff to assist us all. Each of our panel's members bring important experience and unique points of view that will aid us in our efforts to ensure that the House of Representatives runs efficiently, effectively, in a way that keeps the institution accessible to the American people. We are tasked with the mission of service to the House, and we will strive to keep the House's tradition of operating in an open and transparent way. Our committee is, above all else, charged with protecting the foundation of our democracy and government, namely the sacred right to vote. This panel will continue our duty to safeguard the federal election process and make certain that this process remains open, free, fair, and functioning with the highest level of integrity. One of my priorities is to improve how the federal government assists the states with administering federal elections by closely examining the Election Assistance Commission. The EAC was intended to operate for just 3 years following HAVA, the Help America Vote Act, and instead this agency is now in its 15th year of existence. The states are charged with and capable of conducting their own elections and no longer need this temporary agency. I believe the committee can find a better way to utilize resources to protect the vote. Secondly, in today's world, security can never be taken for granted, and our policies must be constantly evaluated. Our committee also has the responsibility of assisting those who are charged with protecting the House side of the Capitol. We work closely with the House Sergeant at Arms and the U.S. Capitol Police to find the right mix of resources and protocols to protect each member, their staff, and the millions of visitors who visit our nation's Capitol each year. We also must be vigilant to address cybersecurity and the potential threats to the Congress and to our nation. We must make certain that we are doing everything that we can to educate our members and staff, and that we have the best tools in place to protect the integrity of our institution against those threats. The committee oversees the day-to-day operations of the House and finds ways to streamline these processes, all with the goal of reducing waste and increasing productivity of the House. This includes determining the budgets for each member and committee and identifying ways to assist members in their daily operations and communications to their constituents. In the 115th Congress, our committee will have many opportunities to make a positive and lasting impact. This committee will operate in a service-oriented manner and seek innovative opportunities to make improvements. Lastly, our committee is tasked with many oversight responsibilities, including over the Library of Congress and Smithsonian Institution. Both of these institutions are American treasures for learning and are safekeepers of our nation's collective history. They must be managed well to protect priceless artifacts, while remaining accessible to the millions of visitors each year. And I look forward to working closely with Dr. Carla Hayden, the new librarian, and maintaining those great relationships that we have. I believe that I can speak for each member on this committee when I stress how important it is for those institutions to utilize their resources responsibly so they remain free to the public and available to future generations. I would now like to take a moment to briefly recognize the Republican members of this committee for the 115th Congress. Rodney Davis represents the 13th Congressional District of Illinois. Rodney is serving his 3rd term in the House and 2nd term on this committee. Barbara Comstock represents the 10th Congressional District of Virginia, and Barbara is serving her 2nd term in the House on this committee. Mark Walker represents the 6th Congressional District of North Carolina. Mark is serving his 2nd term in the House and is 2nd on this committee. And I also want to welcome 2 new members to the committee. Adrian Smith represents the 3rd Congressional District of Nebraska. Adrian is serving his 6th term in the House. And finally, Barry Loudermilk represents the 11th Congressional District of Georgia and is now serving his 2nd term in the House. So I want to thank each of you for agreeing to serve on the committee for the 115th Congress, and I look forward to working with you over these next 2 years. You know, it's a tremendous honor to serve in this governing body and to do so for the betterment of the people we represent and our nation. I firmly believe each of us on this committee want to leave the House of Representatives a better institution than we found it in our first days as member. And we certainly want to make it better at the end of these 2 years and during this 2-year term. I look forward to working closely with our committee's ranking member and my good friend Bob Brady and our colleagues on this panel as we embark on what will be a very productive Congress. And I just want to say that it's been a great honor for me to have served on this committee with Mr. Brady these past 8 years, and I admire him greatly. And I now recognize the ranking member, Mr. Brady, for his comments. Mr. Brady.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Congratulations on your election as chairman of the committee. I also have enjoyed working with you since you have been elected to Congress. We have done a lot of good work together, especially around the Library of Congress, and I know we're beginning discussions about more good work to do together. Also like to welcome our 2 new colleagues, the gentleman from Nebraska and the gentleman from Georgia, and hello to our returning members and my dear friend Zoe Lofgren. Thank you. We are a members committee. We are here to help members do their job better. That is what we are about. We are also a bipartisan committee. We agree 95, 98% of the time, and while we have some disagreements on election issues, we do so without ever being disagreeable. And that is because all members of this committee understand what we are all about, and that's helping each other. Mr. Chairman, I look forward to continue our working relationship, our friendship, and getting it done for our colleagues. Thank you, and thank you for your leadership, and looking forward to working again with you as chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Brady. Before I move on to the introduction of the resolution, does anyone else have any comments they would like to make before we take these matters up? All right, let's proceed. The first item on the agenda is consideration of Committee Resolution 115-1, the proposed committee rules for the 115th Congress. I now call before the Committee Resolution 115-1, Committee Rules. Without objection, the first reading of the resolution is dispensed with, and the resolution is considered read and open for amendment at any point. And I recognize myself for 5 minutes. Pursuant to House Rule 11, Clause 2, the Committee on House Administration shall adopt written rules governing its procedure. The proposed rules are similar to the rules adopted by this committee during the last Congress, and they conform with recent changes to the House rules as amended in this Congress. Overall, our committee's rules provide for a strong structure to accomplish our directives for oversight and goals for moving legislative initiatives forward to the House floor. We work with Mr. Brady's staff to update our rules. We appreciate their input, and I hope all members will support them. And I now recognize the ranking member, Mr. Brady, for any statement on the resolution that he wishes to give. Mr. Brady.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I support the committee rules as you have proposed and appreciate your bipartisan work on keeping us engaged in oversight activities. I urge my colleagues to adopt the resolution.
Thank you, Mr. Brady. Would any member like to offer an amendment to this resolution? Seeing none, I then move that the committee adopt the committee resolution. The question is on the motion to adopt the resolution. I ask for all members who are in favor of the motion to signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? In the opinion of the chairman, the ayes have it, and the motion is agreed to. Without objection, the motion to reconsider is laid upon the table. Without objection, Mr. Davis, the ranking member of the majority, is named as the vice chair of the committee. The next item on the agenda is consideration of Committee Resolution 115-2, the Committee Oversight and Authorization Plan. I now call before the Committee Resolution 115-2, the Committee Oversight and Authorization Plan. Without objection, the first reading of the resolution is dispensed with, and the resolution is considered read and open for amendment at any point. And I recognize myself for 5 minutes. Rule 10, Clause 2D of the House Rules states that no later than February 15th of the first session of Congress, the committee shall adopt an oversight and authorization plan for that Congress. The oversight and authorization plan will focus on carefully examining House operations and identifying ways to innovate and control costs. The committee will also work with the House officers and other support offices to review and update these services offered to the members and staff, as well as continued improvements to the information the House makes available in person and online to millions of constituents each year. I now recognize the ranking member, Mr. Brady, for any statement on the resolution that he wishes to give. Mr. Brady.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, committee Democrats have historically supported the oversight plan that has been submitted by a Republican chairman. However, with the change in House rules now requiring both an oversight and an authorization plan, regretfully, I will have to oppose this resolution. I strongly support the oversight provisions in the resolution and have enjoyed our bipartisan work on those efforts. There is a lot of material in this resolution that we support, including a strong oversight over security efforts, both physical security and cybersecurity. When we work together on oversight issues, everyone is better off. But in your authorization plan, it's clear that you intend to again move legislation limiting our Election Assistance Commission. You have been very persistent on this point, and while I appreciate your persistence, I respectfully disagree. The EAC enjoyed broad support from state and local election officials across the country and political spectrum. Fundamental to our system of government is the administration of free and fair elections. Limiting the only agency that is charged with assisting in this endeavor is something committee Democrats will oppose. And so we will save a larger debate on this point for another day, but I'm most oppose this resolution that endorses the elimination proposal and encourage my colleagues to do the same.
Thank you, Mr. Brady. If there's no further debate, then the question is whether the committee will adopt the amendment. All those in favor of the amendment will signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed will signify by saying nay.
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 In the opinion of the chair, the ayes have it and the amendment is agreed to. Now move that the committee adopt the committee resolution as amended, and the question is on the motion to adopt the resolution. I ask for all members who are in favor of the motion to signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? In the opinion of the chairman, the ayes have it and the motion is agreed to. Without objection, the motion to reconsider is laid on the table. The third and final item on the agenda is Committee Resolution 115-3, the parking policy for the 115th Congress. Pursuant to House Rule 10, Clause 1, the Committee on House Administration has jurisdiction over the parking facilities used by members, staff, and authorized personnel of the House of Representatives. I now call before the Committee Resolution 115-3, the Committee Parking Policy. Without objection, the first reading of the resolution is dispensed with, and the resolution is considered read and open for amendment at any point. I recognize myself for 5 minutes. The parking policy for this Congress was created in consultation with the minority. I want to thank the minority for their continued bipartisan work on the parking policy, and I further want to thank the House Sergeant-at-Arms Parking Security Office for working with the committee in developing the policy. And I now recognize the ranking member, Mr. Brady, for any statement on the resolution that he wishes to give.
Thank you. Mr. Chairman, we support the parking policy for this Congress. All of the changes are because of the new member suites in Rayburn. I also thank the chairman for the work of his staff and the staff of the Sergeant at Arms in developing this policy, and I urge my colleagues to support the resolution.
Would any member like to offer an amendment to this resolution?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
I move to strike the last word. And I don't have an amendment, but I just wanted to raise an issue, which is parking for maternity parking. Members themselves, and we've had a couple of members who have had children, are in a position to, deal with this. But staff members who are pregnant have less sway. And I'm wondering if we could ask, not an amendment, but that we work to craft a procedure so that pregnant staff members could have close parking while they're pregnant. I've been pregnant, and I understand my colleague on the other side. It really helps a lot in those last few months of pregnancy, and that would be my suggestion.
And I thank the gentlelady from California for her comments, and it is a concern, and it's our desire that we would recognize those requests and try to accommodate those. That would be our goal and objective in that. Does anyone else have a comment on this issue? Ms. Comstock, I'll recognize you.
Mr. Chairman, I would join in that request, having been in that similar situation. and certainly encourage the committee to accommodate in every way. But if there does appear to ever be any problem, that, you know, staff come to us, maybe particularly the moms, we can help out. I know we have had a mom on this very committee with 3 children, so you have accommodated it well. But I think that's an important thing, that we get the word out that we all want to help in that type of situation, as well as obviously, you know, we have the disability situations already, but this is obviously a particular temporary situation that would be great. And I thank the chairman for accommodating that.
And I thank the gentlelady from Virginia for her comments, and that is something to let folks know, that if there is a special need for parking requests, that it come to our attention, so we can make steps to accommodate that. So thank you.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes, Mr. Brady.
Mr. Chairman, I don't think this will ever affect me, but I do have a parking place that I would not mind giving up for a lady that would be pregnant and needs a closer spot.
Thank you, Mr. Brady, and that's consistent with the kindness you've exhibited to so many over these 8 years that I've had the privilege of serving with you. Any other comments? All right, then I move that the committee adopt the committee resolution. The question is on the motion to adopt the resolution 115-3. I ask for all members who are in favor of the motion to signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? In the opinion of the chairman, the ayes have it, and the motion is agreed to. Without objection, the motion to reconsider is laid upon the table. This concludes all of the matters before the committee, unless any member has any comments or statements. I would like to thank the members for their participation, and I look forward to working with each of you during this Congress. So without objection, this meeting is adjourned.
Good job, buddy.